Okay, we're taking a look at this is Charlemagne, Master of Europe. This is from Holland Spiel Games, designed by Tom Russell. Um, this is a solo game based on actually an earlier game that Tom Russell did for Holland Spiel, which I also happen to have, but surprisingly haven't played. Probably should have played first, but haven't. Agricola, Master of Britain. These are both solo games with kind of a similar design to them, although, as noted in the rules for Charlemagne, there's a little more complexity to the Charlemagne game, and the rules are not particularly long. There's 15 pages of rules, and then a 4-page, roughly, example of play. So, a little more rules than your typical Columbia games, 8 pages, no more, no less. I've started playing, and I've played through the first couple of rounds, I guess you'd call them, first couple rounds of the campaign phase of the turn. Your sequence of play is a levy phase, which you skip on the first turn. Campaign phase, build phase, diplomacy phase, turn end. The campaign phase is the heart of the game. That's where you move and take actions and so forth. And that can end in only 2 ways. One, you draw turn end markers like those you see there from the hostile cup, which is this 3rd cup in a row. Every time you take hostile actions, you have the potential to draw turn end markers. There's 2 in there currently. When you draw the second one, you'll finish any hostile reactions that you do, and then the turn will end. Or else you can choose to end the campaign turn, in which case you have to draw, I forget what it is, you have to draw more, let's see, it is, you choose to end your campaign early. If ending early, resolve 4 hostile reactions in a row, then end the phase. And maybe that after resolving these 4, you wish you hadn't ended the campaign, but tough luck. So you can force it to end, or it'll end on the turn end markers. So what's happened so far, in setup, you have the choice of putting your marquis, which are these guys, which are kind of like deputies for Charlemagne. Charlemagne himself is over here in Lombardy. But you have these marquis counters, and there's a certain number of them. You've got some more up there that you can deploy for a price. You can either start them in the Spanish March or up here in the Breton March. There were no units down in the Spanish March, so that's why I opted to start them down there. There were a couple here in Gascony. I figured it would have been, I think they were 5s, so it was a little bit harder to potentially clear this out than it would have been to clear the Breton Marches or Paris. But I wanted to get a start on these to kind of get this area under control before the Moors start pouring in through here, because this is where the Moors are going to come up through. I don't know how valid a strategy that is. Maybe I wanted to secure the friendly Paris region first, but I didn't, so here's where we are. The Marquis has suppressed Gascony at this point, and just needs to take out Bordeaux here. To get this area free of units. As you can see over here, there's a crown. This is the Iron Crown and the permanent Deadpool. Because, as you can see, Charlemagne is over here in Lombardy. He starts up here in Aachen, and I moved him quickly to Lombardy to suppress and or defeat the Iron Crown, or to gain the Iron Crown of Lombardy by winning a battle, which he did. Battles are fought down here, where you will draw enemy units from a enemy unit cup, and then you'll deploy your own units from your reserve. The enemy, based on what you roll on this enemy formation table, based on the region and the die roll. In this case, it was the green region. I believe I rolled a 1 and then added 3. No, I added more than that. I forget what I added. You add the leader bonus and then something else. Whatever it was, I ended up with a 8 total, so I ended up adding +7 to get a 5-4-2 result, which means you'd place 5 guys here on the enemy right, 4 guys on the enemy left, and then deploy your forces accordingly so that you have units adjacent to every enemy that's out there. And so I fought that battle. I only lost 1 unit. You can see there's an infantry unit in my force pool, level 2 infantry unit in my force pool. He was the only guy that I lost. I was able to get 2 promotions out of the deal, promoted an infantry to level 4 and a level 1 infantry to a level 2. So the battle went pretty well for Charlemagne. He eliminated all the enemies, because if you don't win the battle, you lose the game. So I guess only battle if you know you can win. If there's any doubt at all in your mind that you might not win the battle, you probably don't want to do it, because that could be the game. So winning that battle gave this, the Pope here, he starts at a -1, and that bumped him up to a +0 and gave me a permanent +1 DRM in Lombardy, which I believe has to do with making it easier to suppress. Yeah. So, and you want to do that early. You get victory points every turn to the end of the game once you've taken the Iron Crown of Lombardy. So, why not do it on the first turn? Maximize the number of turns you can get those victory points from. Winning that also, the Iron Crown was actually a +3 leader. And when you win a battle against a leader, you get to add to your treasury that amount. So my treasury went up by 3. My taxes also went up by 3, and that may just be something special for the Iron Crown. Yeah, I think, because ordinarily in a siege or a battle, your treasury increases, but for the Iron Crown, you also increase your taxation. So that's where it's at right now. And I just finished the last campaign round, and it's not clear in the instructions. Let's see. To perform actions, each action will prompt a cup adjustment, hostile reaction. So I don't know if you can do. What I've been doing is doing an action for Charlemagne and an action for my Marquis, alternating. But there's really I don't see anything in the rules that says you couldn't just do as many moves in a row as you wanted with Charlemagne or with your Marquis. So it's kind of weird that it doesn't say that. Look at the action. Move the map and take actions. Each action you take will result in a cup adjustment. Yeah, so all the campaign phase talks about is what happens with the cup adjustments. And you go to actions, you have several actions available to you. Choosing the right actions at the right time is integral to your successful reign. Actions target or affect a box occupied by your Charlemagne piece or by one of your Marquis pieces. Before taking any action, you may, but are not required, to move the acting piece from its current box to an adjacent box. It talks about bridges and roads. Yeah, Marquis can only move within the region. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. It's weird. Presumably you could just keep moving Charlemagne over and over again and never move your Marquis if he had nothing to do. Maybe that's why you might have a Marquis in a region where there's no action for him to take, if he's not suppressing or sieging, force marching, or gifting, I guess. So, well, anyway, we finished the battle for Lombardy. Let's see, next action for Charlemagne, he can move, and then we're going to do a suppress action here on Friuli. So, and that gives us a +1 DRM because we have the Iron Crown. So for suppression, you have to roll higher than the resistance of the top unit, in this case a 4, to eliminate all units in that box. So we'll roll a d8, we roll a 5, that succeeds. So the freely is eliminated, we put him in the dead pool. And the cup adjust, we move, so every time you do an action, there's going to be an action here. We move 1 unit from the friendly cup, the Hoosier Times mug, very friendly, to the Guns of August mug, the unfriendly mug. Mount Vernon, for some reason, is hostile. And then there's hostile reactions, so we draw two chits from the hostile reactions. The first one we draw is Poitiers. It's the first unit to go there. More for the Marquis to do in the yellow region. And then, oh, what do you know? Friuli. Now, Charlemagne is here. I believe the result is that that unit is immediately eliminated. But let us see. Box occupied by Charlemagne. The unit is immediately eliminated and moved to the dead pool. So that was good news. So there we go. That was a Charlemagne action. He has suppressed the Friuli region. A lot of units in Bavaria. On the setup, I kept drawing units. You're supposed to keep setting up until you get, I think, 4 units in Lombardy. 3 or 4, whatever it was. I kept drawing Bavaria. Just Bavaria after Bavaria after Bavaria before I got the requisite number of units for Lombardy. So Bavaria might be a tough nut to crack, but I think Charlemagne can do it. For now, we're going to move this Marquis here. He's going to try and suppress in Bordeaux. Suppression action. You can look, there's a nice summary of actions here. This tells you what you can do. For a Marquis, you roll greater than the resistance, but only 1 unit can be eliminated. Fortunately, for the Marquis, there is only 1 unit. It's a 4, so he needs to roll a 5 or higher. On the d8, he rolls a 6, that succeeds, and Bordeaux is suppressed. But we do a cup adjustment of another friendly unit moving to the unfriendly cup, and then 2 hostile reactions. For the first, get a pagan Velity, which is up here in the brown region. And then for our second, Saxons want more browns. Yeah, you can see it's getting ugly up there in the pagan hinterlands. It's pretty ugly in the orange pagan hinterlands there as well. Eastern Europe and basically the Low Country there, I guess. It looks like Holland. So we've not drawn any turn end markers, so we continue to take actions since the turn is not currently, the campaign phase rather, is not ending. So what do we want to do with Charlemagne? He's suppressed that. Do we want to go and do a fight in Bavaria? Or do we want to start, I want to try something else. What are the other actions that we can do? We can try and siege those guys. I don't know, I need to read siege rules if there's not a leader. There's currently no leader in the Bavaria stack. Just looking at, because if I wanted to place a Marquis there, I don't think I can unless all the enemies have been removed. So let's go back and look at our actual rules for the action. Marquis limitations. The box must be free and the region must be free of enemy leaders. So I could place a Marquis in the green region where Charlemagne is currently. But the total number of Marquis pieces in play can't exceed the total number of finished churches by more than 2. So if you have 3 Marquis in one church, you cannot place a 4th. What about building a church? Let's look at that. Oh, I can't do that until we get to the build phase. So, bridges and roads, finish. Spending 3 coins to flip started churches to their finish side. where we can place a church on its started side in the same region that Charlemagne currently occupies. So yeah, I guess we could do that anytime, but not until the build phase. So I think Charlemagne probably wants to go and battle in Bavaria while my army is strong, and that's a big stack. So for his start of the turn, he would do his action and move one space as a free action, and then we would do a battle. This video is already at 15 minutes. I don't know that I want to do the battle on camera, just because it's kind of lengthy to start. So let me get it set up, and then maybe I'll resolve the battle on camera. Okay, so I was going to set up the battle and then play it out on camera, and ended up setting it up and actually playing it out and just now finished, and then realized, oh shit, I forgot to record this. Probably because I've been drinking. So the result was a victory. You can see how I actually had units that have moved into the enemy line. He would have had, just as an example, there would have been enemy units placed all along these lines here, and you resolve combats with units that are adjacent to each other, and it's attack round where your units are attacking their units, and you're essentially trying to roll your attack factor, which is the top number here, plus a d8 die roll to exceed the enemy's defense factor. If you roll a natural 8, they're automatically killed. If you don't roll a natural 8, it just counts as a hit, and you flip them over to their weakened side, and then you hit them again, and then they die. On the first round, your cavalry can kill units outright with a hit, as opposed to needing a natural 8. So I actually got 2 hits that way on this battle. So it was a pretty quick and bloody affair. I had rolled on the formation table a fairly low number. I think I rolled a 1. No, not a 1. In the green region, I ended up with a 4-4-1, so I think I rolled a 6 for them. And determining, let's see, for deploying, oh yeah, that's right, yeah, the resistance rating of the top enemy unit, which was a 4, so I rolled a 4, I think I rolled a 3, and that's where I got the 7 from. So there was 4 units deployed on each side, and then there'll be a 1. The third number is the unfriendly to hostile cup adjustment. So we move 1 unit from the unfriendly. Is it unfriendly? Yeah, unfriendly to hostile. And then now that we've won the battle, we're doing our battle resolution steps, which are eliminate enemy map units. So these, all 4 of these units that were in Bavaria are eliminated. So go to the dead pool, and there's a pretty big stack of green units in the dead pool now. So now we resolve the dead pool, and that's on 12.2. So first thing we do, place Viking markers in the hostile cup. There aren't any. All Andalus and Byzantine are both still at peace. Intrigue markers remain, or the Iron Crown remains, as you can see. Place end turn markers for the remaining enemy unit counters. Sort all the units by region, then look at each region and resolve the dead pool units belonging to it according to the following priorities. If there's no enemy units and a finished church, so we're looking at the green here, and there are no enemy units, but there's no church currently. Enemy units, but no Frankish presence. Well, there is a Frankish presence, and it's Charlemagne. All other cases, if neither of the 2 cases above apply, which is true, place the units for that region into the unfriendly cup with the following 2 exceptions. Units from the blue region will go into the friendly cup. We're not in the blue region, as you can see. Units from the orange and brown region go into the hostile cup. We're not there either. So all of these green units go into the unfriendly cup. And all of the yellow, I think it's going to be the same thing. Yep, all the yellow units that are there also go into the unfriendly cup. Now, after that, we go to promotion. One of the surviving battle units, and each of my 2 wings, one from the left and one from the right, must be promoted. So I'm going to promote a level 2 horse to a level 3, and I guess I have to swap that out for my force pool. So I think that goes, the level 2 goes back in the force pool, and the level 3 comes out. And then over here, same thing. No, we pop a horse up to level 4. And then all these units go back into your force pool accordingly. Actually, I think we do that. Level 2 horse, level 3 infantry, level 3 horse, level 4 horse, level 4 infantry. So you can see at some point you want to start, if you get the army, because at the end of the turn, all your level 4 units will retire and go back to your force pool. So if you have an army that's like all level 4 and all level 1, you're going to kind of be hosed at the end of a turn because you'll lose all your level 4 guys, and you'll have to fight your battles with a bunch of level 1 guys or level 2 guys. So you kind of want to, as you go, you don't want to just jack everybody up to level 4. You want to kind of get these guys, your level 1s and 2s, bumped up to level 3, so that you have not entirely a rookie army by the time the next turn rolls around. So anyway, that was promotion after the battle. Now, treasure, if there's an enemy leader in the box, add coins to your treasury equal to the leader's leadership bonus. There weren't any, which kind of sucks. Would have been nice to get some treasure out of the deal. Each battle will result in 1 friendly, unfriendly cup adjustment, followed by a variable number. So I actually should have done 2 friendly to unfriendly. I only did 1 because that was what was in the formation table, but you actually do the generic plus, or a base 1 change plus what you have on the force chart, the enemy formation table. So we've done the cups, no ambush. So yeah, that's the end of that action. So now we go here to a marquis. He's going to do a suppress action in Poitiers. He rolls a 2, which is a failure. So nothing happens there. Actually, something does happen. I think you still do the hostile reaction, even if you fail. Let's see, suppress. No units are eliminated. Yeah, I think you still do your cup adjustment, and you still do your hostile reaction, which is 2. So we get some more Saxons. And for a second hostile action, oh, Friuli again. Nope, it's gonna be like whack-a-mole. Yep. So, all right, well, that was a battle round. That was another round. I'm going to keep going through rounds. I'm not going to film all of them until I get to the end of the campaign. What I will probably do now will be to do individual turns, just do some turn recaps, basically, going forward, as opposed to doing a, actual unit by unit, action by action playthrough. So, but this was just to give you a look at the start of Charlemagne, a little bit how the mechanics of the game work. Once I come back, you'll see probably a lot more stuff going on the board in terms there'll be some churches built. There'll be more units out there, I'm sure, after hostile reactions get things going. So we'll see. The game's supposed to be very difficult, and I don't doubt that. So hopefully I can get another video in or 2 before I end up losing. We shall see.